Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Madeline Doll here. Today we are looking at my January 2020 budget. As most of you know who watch my videos, I am starting my debt-free journey. This is the first full month of this debt-free journey for my family and I, and we are looking forward to it. So really the first part of going on your debt-free journey and starting that to where you're working towards your goals is setting a budget. A budget is about giving every single dollar that you have a purpose, a name, a job, something to go out and do for you. So looking at my budget, I have to first think about, okay, what is my income coming in and what do my dollars need to take care of for me? Today's video, we're just talking general budgeting. So this is an overview of the month. So we are looking at my expenses. Now this is just the fixed expenses because that's pretty much what I always start my budgeting with. I'm looking at my income, then I calculate those fixed expenses, I subtract that, then I take that remaining amount and I look at my variable expenses. After that, then I can look at what's left over to do things with. So here we go. This is how I start my budget. Now again, just a full disclaimer. Everybody budgets a little bit differently. You can find what works for you. This happens to work for me and my family, so I wanted to share it with y'all. So I like to look at the month. Now, no, I do not always write this out like this. I do love to write down my stuff. I'm a writer, but I don't always necessarily put it in a calendar form to look at like this. But I wanted to show you guys what I mean. So this is January 2020. I first take, so I get paid twice a month bi-weekly. So here is, and I'm going to kind of zoom in for you guys. So I get paid on January 10th. That's going to be paycheck number 1. And I get paid January 24th, paycheck number 2. So with these paychecks, if you see, like number 2 is highlighted, circled with pink ink. And this one's circled with blue ink. And if you look here at my total calendar for the month, you'll see that I have different things. Well, of course, this is my birthday and then my husband's birthday, so these don't count. This is the only thing that's not related to the budget here, but I just wanted to put that there because I need to know, hey, when I do get to around here, which we're probably going to wait to do any spending, we'll spend for birthdays with this check here. But for this one, this is the one we're at today. This is my paycheck for today. So we got paid, and I know, because it's blue around it, I need to pay those items here that have blue. So what I like to do, and that may look a little confusing, and it's a lot, I know, to take in, but how I like to do my budget is, because I know that I get paid twice a month, I know that I get paid bi-weekly, that usually amounts to 2 paychecks a month, except when we have those magical little 3 paycheck months. Because I get paid bi-weekly, I know, okay, all of my total bills, and I need to look at when they come due. So the pinks here are due at the beginning of the month. These things roughly are due all at the beginning of the month. The blues are due at the end of the month, as you see. The 12th, the 15th, the 17th, the 19th, 20th, 21st, 25th. So these things in the blue are the second part of the month. These things in the pink are all the beginning of the month. So how I like to do my paycheck is I split my month up. Anything with the blue, this is my first paycheck right here, I'm going to be paying today these bills. So I'm looking at the things that are due here. So for my paycheck, because I like to do paycheck budgeting, my first paycheck is going to tackle these things in the blue because these are the things that are coming due next. Paychecks number 2, like when we're going into February, my second paycheck of each month always tackles the things in the pink. So if you watched my last video, well, actually my first budgeting video, it was my paycheck number 2 for December 2019, and I was paying PayPal, Apple Music, rent, homeowners, because I have this rotation. It continues like that. And to kind of show you what I mean, not only did I kind of go by the date, but I wanted to level load it. I wanted to make sure that I had some, I guess, consistency. I wanted it to be balanced so that I can have a good amount of money left over to have my variable expenses, to figure out what I can put towards groceries, what can I actually spend, what can I put towards debt. So how this kind of works for me, besides looking at it this way, which let me kind of zoom in and let y'all see it a little bit closer. So pinks, come at the beginning of the month, and those are paid with my paycheck in the end of the month for the next month. And then paycheck number 1 always pays the things coming up at the end of that current month. So I'm always paying ahead. Always. I'm always on top of that. And to look at it even closer, this is more of a breakdown of that. So my first paycheck of each month, I am tackling the things for the end of that month, right? Because this comes, you know, I may get paid early in the month. I may get paid, like this check is on the 10th. Sometimes you'll get your first paycheck when it's after those like 3 paycheck weeks. You might get it on the 15th. So I like to make sure that that check is tackling the things towards the end of the month. So those things for myself are a Jeep payment that we have, our phone and internet, our Progressive auto insurance, Care credit card, energy, Ulta, and iCloud. So these things are from the 15th on, really, and those get paid with that first paycheck of every single month, which is roughly $1,400.42. And this is an estimate. These are usually the most I'll pay for these things. Sometimes I pay a little bit more, sometimes it's a little bit less, like Ulta. I put $50 because that's roughly like a good minimum payment, but sometimes it's $35 a month, you know, it just depends. So this is roughly what that looks like. So then my second paycheck of the month, each time I am going to be paying these items, which come at the beginning of that month. Because like this time, I get paid on the 24th, I need to be looking at rent because I know it's coming due on the 1st. You know, it's going to be coming that next week. So that is why I do this. So paycheck number 2 of each month, I'm paying my rent, homeowner's insurance or renter's insurance for our apartment, Apple Music, PayPal, my loan, eBay, and Torrid. The latest this stuff goes is the 10th, which again is the beginning of each month. So paycheck number 2 always tackles the thing for the beginning of the next month. And that roughly is about $13.40. So I like these two things because I could have put this 10th up here, like the beginning of this month, instead of the 17th. But I'd like it to be, which probably I could because it's the same amount, but I like it to be level. Like I want to get them balanced. I like knowing what's coming up. And I wanted to pay my like credit cards like that, like Torrid and Ulta. I wanted to split those up. So that is kind of what I'm looking at, and this is what I follow. And this is it, kind of looking at it on a actual calendar. Whatever way works better for you. I prefer this way because I know to follow it. So really when I'm looking at my paychecks, if you're ever like, wow, watching one of my videos and you're like, oh, okay, paycheck number 2, how does she figure out what she's paying and when? This is what I'm doing. Every single first paycheck pays these things. Every single second paycheck pays these things. And I continue on with that cycle. So I'm always ahead of what I owe. And it works out really, really well for myself. So this is what we're looking at. And I just wanted to kind of give you guys that disclaimer before I go into my paycheck for this month. I'm sorry, paycheck for this pay period. Which, let's look at that right now. So this is my January 2020 paycheck number 1. Of course, it actually, I'm going to keep this thing out here. So paycheck number 1 is paying these things. So Jeep, AT&T, Progressive, Care Credit, Energy, Ulta, iCloud, etc. I'm also paying ABA therapy. So I have to pay $3,000 for ABA this year for my daughter's ABA therapy. So I'm putting actually $1,500 this paycheck because I have a little bit of money. I have $500 saved up in one of my sinking funds for that. So this is what we're looking at this pay period. So January 2020, paycheck number 1. Our income this paycheck is $2,700. We are going to subtract our fixed expenses, which this time is ABA therapy, Jeep, AT&T phone and internet, Energy, Care Credit, and Ulta, as well as iCloud storage, which totals up for fixed expenses $2,182.52. Then our variable expenses. So my variable expenses this time are going to be $200 for basically groceries and home. So like I'm not just putting food, then I'm going to put like Cora, pull-ups, and diapers and things like that. Like, I'm not going to separate everything. It's just too complicated. Because when I go to Walmart, I just want to pull my cash out of one envelope and use that to do all of my shopping. Whether that's for home, my child, things like that, food, whatever. So I'm doing $200 for those things, toiletries, etc. So think food and home, or groceries and home. 200 bucks. $75 is going to my husband for his spending money or lunch. He tends to buy lunch a lot, like he, every 2 weeks, like he wants his money for lunch. So he needs $75 for that. Myself, I'm doing $75 spending money, and that can go towards my lunches, or if I'm being a good girl and I'm eating at home, or I'm prepping things and doing a good job, then I don't need to spend the money on lunch. I'm going to have $75 spending as well. Coraline, my beautiful darling daughter, she's going to have $30 for us to spend on her. Now, because the $200 counts her like diapers, wipes, things she might need, medicines, etc., that's coming out of that $200 that we have for groceries and home. The $30 is really like if she needs snacks, or if we want to get her a toy, or we want her to be happy, that's her happy money. So I'm considering that her own spending money. The $15 miscellaneous is probably going to end up going to gas, if I had to guess, from my mother-in-law. We need that miscellaneous fund because every single pay period we have to end up sticking some money somewhere for something. But most likely it's going to go to that. I want to make sure that we have something put aside, and that'll be $15. And then my husband, he actually works further away than I do from our home, so he needs $80 of gas money, and then I'm going to have $40 for myself. The only thing that I need to look at is if my car is being used to bring Cora to and from school, then I'll need to adjust my own gas, which will probably come out of my own spending money to fund that. So our total variable expenses, if I'm subtracting everything that we have here, if I'm adding everything that we have here, we have $515 total that we want to spend on gas, food, toiletries, home, our lunch money, spending money, happiness money, etc. So this is the things that are going to keep us nice, happy, fed, and good. And then if we're taking, because we have our income, our fixed expenses, and our variable expenses, going even further on this, I'm going to subtract my income. I'm going to take my income and subtract those variable expenses, which gives us $517.48 remaining. And then that remaining balance of $517.48, I'm subtracting those variable expenses of $515, which gives me a whole whopping total of $2.48 left over. Woo! Love that. We have leftover money, so we're in the green. And that $248 is honestly, because it is so small, going to sit in our account as a little cushion, because our big goal this paycheck was ABA therapy. So we are going to be paying $1,500 to ABA using our $500 sinking fund that is saved up towards my daughter's ABA therapy, and we have $1,500 more to go. So that is going to be fun, and we're going to hit that goal. And until I really hit that goal, because my goal is to spend that, pay that ahead of time for the year. That way I can really focus on tackling these debts, focus on saving, getting my debt-free journey started, and not have to worry about this added expense. So that is our paycheck. So we are going to go ahead and stuff some cash envelopes now using these. So right here, these little stars, these are the amounts that I'm actually going to use cash. Our gas, we are going to leave in our bank account and use our card for that, because we're both some lazy human beings and we like to drive up to the gas station and pump our gas. But I will say this, my husband and I have 2 accounts. So it's not that I'm saving this and it's going to get confused with these things. So I'll write that in too. So we do have 2 bank accounts. One we call our bill account, and one we call our spending account. So we literally have 2 checking accounts. Our bill account is only money that is ever saved in here. We know it's going to be taken. We don't touch this. We don't touch it ever, 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 ever. Automatic payments come out. manual payments come out. This is money that is not even ours. We just put it from our check, it goes there. Our spending account are these variable things. So before I was using cash, I would take all of my spending money, so in this scenario, $515 total, put it in that second checking account, which is labeled our spending, and we'd use that card to do what we want. And we know we're good because we're never going to our bill account. It worked really well for us, but we want to use cash. We want to be more mindful of our spending. We want to truly make this journey a success, and we're going to give this a good hard try. So because of that, I'm only leaving our gas money in our spending account. Well, and probably that $2.48. We'll see. I'll decide which one, but probably in here. So yeah. So that's it. And just so you're not like, oh my God, how are you not going to get that confused? This will stay in our spending account, not our bill account, which is what all of our fixed expenses and everything comes out of. So we are going to stuff these envelopes.